And then, do you have, Lorrie was just telling me that you guys do like a puppuccino or something like that? Do you guys have one of those?
Yeah, of course. So we have our little dog bone treats, or we have just a cup of whipped cream.
She likes the cup of, she likes
the
whatever she wants to give us.
Whipped cream cup?
Yeah.
May's a regular.
You're a regular? You already know what you want, huh? You're so
Excited.
sweet. Yeah. They'll get it, I promise. They will. Thank you. You want that?
Oh, that's huge.
Ooh.
May, take it. Take it. May, take it.
You take it? Okay.
It's hard to imagine, but here we are, the opening of Season 7 of Ken's Think Tank. We've interviewed guests in several cities across 3 states. We've done shows in an airplane, a bus, a race car, and a boat. But there's one thing we haven't done, until now. I asked Lorrie Lawrence to come on the show and talk about integrative medicine, an interesting idea that I think everybody needs to hear. But along with Lorrie, we're bringing her fuzzy buddy along for the ride. That's right, this will be our first dog guest. Riding with us today is Lorrie's dog. Her name is May West, and she's the sweetest thing. Since we're getting some Durango Joe's coffee like we normally do and want to include May, we've treated her to a puppuccino. As adorable as May is, Lorrie is our main guest. She owns the Sedona Wellness Group, named for her first location in Sedona, Arizona. Several years ago, she also opened Pagosa Wellness in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. And a couple of years ago, she closed Sedona Wellness to focus on her latest and final location, Aztec Wellness in Aztec, New Mexico. Everywhere Lorrie goes, she dedicates herself to the development of the area, and she's doing the same in Aztec. I want to know what her plans are. Want to see how it goes?
Come along for the ride in Ken's Think Tank. Ken's Think Tank is made possible by the following sponsors.
Ken Collins Marketing. It's simple. We help small business owners get more customers. Show our sponsors some love. If you're watching the video, show us some love by smashing the like button. And remember, the views and opinions expressed on Ken's Think Tank do not necessarily reflect those of our sponsors.
So Lorrie, we just picked you up from your shop.
Yeah.
It's Aztec Wellness.
Yes.
But it's kind of under the umbrella of Sedona Wellness.
Right.
That was your original place, was in Sedona, right?
The whole thing started and our whole wellness center began and was founded in Sedona, Arizona, in town in Sedona. And then after seeding the whole town with kind of Ayurveda and the kind of medicine, and the natural medicine that we practice, we moved it to a little town just outside of Sedona called Clarkdale.
Right.
And there's like a little old town Cottonwood area there that got developed during that time. And when we first went there, it was just like Aztec South and North Main area of Aztec is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a carbon copy situation, and my hopes are that this downtown area of Aztec will also develop the same way. It's so cool down there.
Yeah. You started that in Sedona, and at some point you opened a location in Pagosa Springs.
Right.
So how is it that you're in Sedona, living there, working there, have a business there, and you decide to put one in Pagosa Springs?
So my business partner at the time lived in Pagosa Springs.
Oh, okay.
And we were back and forth doing projects there in Pagosa as well, and doing business in Sedona, and always kind of knew that we would open up that location in Pagosa.
Yeah.
So then we finally did 4 years ago.
Because it seemed kind of random to me, like, how would you know that Pagosa Springs was there?
Right.
You know, really, and maybe on a travel through or something, and so, yeah.
And to make note, it's another town that it was just like how Sedona was, and like Aztec is right now, where it was still not quite developed. with a certain level of services and commerce.
Right.
That then Sedona exploded with while we were there, and Pagosa has also exploded with since we've been there.
Right.
So then my eyes got over here on Aztec.
So you're just leading the pack on this stuff. Wherever you go.
I don't know if it's me, but it's happening. Maybe I'm running from the development. I like the small town vibe.
Yeah.
So, and I'm also motivated to be a part of seeing these communities grow.
Yeah.
And so that's what all the events are all about and things that I get myself involved in.
So yeah, you just opened your Aztec location a few years ago?
It's a year and a half ago.
Yeah, okay. And so that one's in downtown Aztec. And so you've got Pagosa Wellness and Aztec Wellness.
Right.
And you closed down your Sedona
Correct.
location.
Just this last year, in fall, we finished in Sedona so that we can focus on Pagosa and Aztec. And
Okay.
that was part of the my business partner retiring. So we kind of downsized things to make it more functional and make the final resting place of all of it here in Aztec at the North Main Extension.
Nice. And so that's your plan, is to move into the North Main Extension, which is completed now.
Well, the North Main Extension is the development project of the city.
Right.
Right. And so then we have a piece of dirt there that we're going to do a new build.
Right.
The way that we would like to see it, so that we can provide all the functions that we offer.
Yeah.
For people to come in and do ongoing detox and wellness programs and
Right.
anti-aging programs.
Right. So do you know when you're going to start construction on that, or
I don't.
or you're kind of in the process of
We're working on a lot of
funding and
things right
everything,
now.
yeah.
It's a lot. There's a lot of logistics and bringing in the new doctor into the picture. How we'll be structuring the business with that
Yeah.
as well. We have more to do than I anticipated, and we'll just keep working away at it.
I forgot to mention we have another guest. We have and she knows she's at the park.
She does
Hi,
know she's at
sweetie.
the park.
We have Mae West, right? Is that her
Yeah,
name?
you can sit right here and look.
What are you doing?
This means ball and swimming.
Yep.
And the river and
Another puppy.
other puppy friends. Oh, that's very interesting. You can find Mae West at any of our locations with me.
She's very sweet.
She's our therapy dog.
So explain kind of an overall viewpoint of what you do at both your. I know you do.
Go back. She's so excited.
Different services at different locations, but there's kind of an overall picture of what you do. So what is it that you do?
So what I do is called Ayurvedic medicine.
Right.
I'm a practitioner of Ayurvedic medicine.
Okay.
And
so for people that have never heard that before, what does that mean?
it's a naturopathic form of medicine for adjunct healing within the allopathic Western medical field.
Okay.
And so I work together with Western medicine. I came from Western medicine and focus on natural ways to achieve the same goal whenever it's possible, holding hands with both.
Is that what you mean by, is it integrative medicine?
Integrative medicine.
So you're using like Western medicine and natural, like homeopathic kind of stuff, and integrating those two together. So, okay.
So usually I become part of somebody's care team, or I help guide them how to put a care team together when they have questions or concerns and want to take a different route than they've been presented with so far.
Yeah.
During this lovely snowy day, you're navigating the deep mud well. I'm impressed, Ken. Without bouncing us around too much, it's awesome.
It helps kill time. Oh, man.
Good thing you didn't see me trying to get out of my Colorado driveway.
Yeah. So explain a little more about I have the hardest time saying that.
Ayurveda.
Ayurveda.
So it's an ancient practice of medicine and lifestyle that is from Asia,
Okay.
specifically from India.
Right.
And like a lot of the Asian modalities that people here in this country know more about, like Chinese medicine,
Right.
traditional Chinese medicine, and so on, we have a lot of similar practices. We work a lot with herbs and tinctures and lifestyle.
Right.
And I spend a lot of time with people on nutrition, for sure. That's my biggest, most important thing, because food is medicine, so
Right.
good place to start.
Yeah.
And then we work with herbs a lot after that next, and then supplements to assist the body in doing its job. And I don't like people to learn the pill taking
Yeah.
sort of way of doing things, so I do go always back to food and
Right.
working them as we can for each individual with food. So Ayurveda is very individualized with medicine, and this is a great time of year for people to do things like cleanse programs and detox programs. We focus a lot on detoxing the body and restoring it, so rejuvenative
Right.
medicine as well, and then educating people how to do that in their life realistically so they can be successful at it.
Okay, it's a good point. The whole food thing, you are what you eat.
You are what you
so
eat. It's true.
If you're not eating well, then you are not well.
Right. And there's some astounding information that's kind of scary about what's in things like the what's it called, the Better Burger or Beyond Burger or something like that. So
Okay.
it's a vegan burger. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. She said, it's so great. It tastes just like a hamburger, and it's even pink inside. So I had to do a little research, and in
Yeah.
a lot of those items, they have other kinds of fillers and things, and they're oils that are not healthy for your body, that your body can't process.
Right.
Sometimes you have to make the better choice. I think there's things in the real deal that has enzymes and linoleic acids and other phytochemicals and things that your body absolutely relies on to
Yeah.
digest and function properly.
Right.
Feed your brain, make your metabolism work. It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
big deal.
there's a purpose for just natural food that has fat in it. There's all kinds of different kinds of fat, but I'm not an expert on that stuff, but it seems to me like natural animal fat is good
To a certain
to
extent.
a degree.
Yep.
I mean, anything that you overdo is not good for you. So,
Ayurveda is vegetarian based,
right.
but we're not in India, and it's not 5,000 years ago.
Right.
So we're genetically different. We live in a different country. We have different weather. We have other things
Yeah.
going on. So,
Yeah.
and then everybody's different too. People like to come and say, my blood type is.
Yeah.
So they go by that diet. But
Yeah.
that's not what I go by or what we go by, because I'm looking more closely at what their basic constitution is and
Sure.
what's going on in their system or what their medical history is, and then also what are their goals and what are their ethical concerns too, because that's what
Right.
brings up a lot of the vegan or vegetarian type of
Yeah.
situation. So taking all that into consideration and helping people understand, well, there's options. You can go this way or you can go that way.
Right.
The bigger picture though for me is that so much of what's happening to our food right now across the board with the modifications and things that are creating a situation in our body where our body really doesn't recognize it as food.
yeah.
So that's causing a lot of allergic responses in people, and ultimately once that irritation remains in the system for long enough, it's turning into autoimmune problems.
Right.
So there's a lot of people with that condition. It's one of the things that I focus on a lot with, to make sure, rule it out at least, if there could be a possibility of that. That is what's happening from our food on a widespread basis right now.
Yeah.
We have symptoms from drinking wine here. I have a lot of people that talk about
yeah.
if they drink wine and eat certain things together, like an Italian meal, for
Sure.
example,
Sure.
that they'll wake up with like acid indigestion and
Right.
things like that. So that does point to a lot of the combination of those foods. Here, though, it doesn't happen. It's never happened to me personally
Right.
in Italy or in Switzerland or France or any of those places. They have a different protocol there. For example, in the wine that's produced in this country, we're allowed to use a lot more of the preservatives, so sulfites, in the wine than they do in Europe.
Right.
So that's why oftentimes I hear people say, well, when I drink wine from Italy, I don't have that problem. But when I drink my favorite wine from a California vineyard, I do.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of what's going on. So that's back to what you were talking about. That's a good point, that how the food is made now, it is lacking a lot of the nutrients that we need.
Right.
And it's part of this whole business model that has to be followed to create a profit, generate a profit. So we're suffering from that subsequently, unless we're able to have a garden if possible, or grow our own food, grow our own meat,
Right.
hunt for our meat, or any of the wild natural options that you can find in the stores.
Right.
I think, Deepak Chopra is one of my teachers and colleagues, and said one time to us that nothing will actually change unless there's enough people on the planet all experiencing the same thing at
Right.
the same time to create that global consciousness tipping point, that shift to
Right.
occur. So that was one of the benefits, I think, that came out
Sure.
of this pandemic that we all just went through.
Everybody has to have something in common. If you
Right.
don't, then it's just a bunch of voices with their opinion of what they think people should do, and you hear 20 other voices with differing opinions, and you're like, whatever, y'all need to shut up. But
There's so much information
There
right now.
is,
It's overload. It's overwhelming.
yeah. And so when you draw everybody into the very same thing, everybody globally has the same thing in common, then it's a collaborative effort to
Right.
figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
It includes not just the food we're putting in our mouth, it's the information that we're digesting.
Yeah.
It's energy and information, it's our interactions with other people,
Yeah.
the place that we live, the music that we listen to, the sounds we hear, the colors we see, and the food
Yeah.
that we eat, for sure. So understanding how all of that works together in a synergy is
Right.
is what will create a holistic way of living and taking care of yourself.
You were in the Army as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
So what did you do in the Army?
I was a field medic.
Nice.
And 96 Bravo 10, which is a communications specialist. So I had 2 MOs.
Okay.
In fact, that's kind of, actually before that I went to school for medicine right when I got out of high school early. And because of that, they saw it on my record already and decided to make me a field medic.
Okay.
So it kind of just kept happening. Kept rolling along, and then back into Western medicine when I came back to America. That's when I had the epiphany that the Western path wasn't the right path, and I think we talked about that a little bit one time. My father was a Native American medicine man, so that's actually what I grew up with.
Oh, wow.
And it resonated with me, but of course when you're growing up with something like that, you don't really know what's going on.
Sure.
You're just
Yeah.
it's just part
You
of
take
your
it for
life.
granted. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a really cool experience in one of my professor's classes who I really respected, and I was talking to a younger student about some natural things she asked me about, and my professor said, "You will not discuss that in this allopathic course." But if you could have seen it from my position, I'm sitting at the lab table, and she was like it was like a dragon coming towards me,
Yeah.
and slamming her fist on the table, and I that's the moment I realized this isn't my path. And so then I went on to study Ayurvedic medicine, and funny enough, it resonates so well with me, and it's so profound what I've seen it do and how it helps people over all of these years. And it's not a lot unlike Native American Indian medicine, actually. There's so many similarities.
Sure.
So it's kind of a part of my dharma, my life purpose, I think, to be focused in this area.
And so where did you grow up with your, because you said that your dad was a medicine man.
I'm from California. I grew up on the ocean
Okay.
in California, and then moved to Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and then moved out of the country to Switzerland. So
Really?
he was transplanted from Missouri, and his family were part of the Trail of Tears that came down from North Carolina through Oklahoma, but they went through that part of
Yeah.
where he was from.
Yeah.
So he was born in a swamp.
And you're planning on being somewhere down here, right?
Right there.
Yeah, very
So
cool.
at the end of the plaza, there's a marketplace plaza where we'll be having events and things down here.
Yeah.
And the city, as in we, the city. And so that's the location where we will have our center set up. And I'm planning on a juice bar as well for people to come in and have some healthy grab and go options.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And it's part of this whole walking path. It's right on the edge at the end of downtown Aztec, which is super cool in its own way. Mm-hmm. And
the historic part of town.
walk this and you can get right to Aztec ruins,
Yep.
which has been an icon here forever. Everybody knows Aztec ruins. And then you can continue from there and go to the park and the river and the sports complex and back to downtown. And
It's a perfect town
Yeah.
for people who love outdoor activity.
yeah,
And there's several different organizations right now that are working on outdoor programs that will connect the river, different parts of the river together. This is the Animas River flowing through here, so it's a great river.
maybe a conceptual timeline for North Main, a North Main extension
Yes,
move.
in my head.
Yeah.
I have an idea of what I'd like to see. Of course, that would rely on many different things
Sure.
to happen, and
Sure.
it's probably realistic to say it will be about 2 years out
Sure.
at the earliest.
Right.
And so we're moving things in that direction. It's exciting though.
Well, I'm excited for it. I saw some conceptual drawings of kind of the area and the layout down there and everything. So cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool. It's a really good location.
This is of all the locations that we've been, this location, the people that live in this area are the most committed and dedicated to their wellness from
Yeah.
a natural lens.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's been really exciting to see that, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here to support that for them. And my father said that we don't become an adult, actually we don't grow up until we're 50, and we should live to be 130.
So there's hope that I'm going to actually grow up at some point. Okay. It may be starting. I'm past 50 now, so it's probably starting now.
I'm almost 60, so I feel like I'm a teenager now.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much
Thank you,
for coming
Ken.
on the show
Thank
with
you.
me. And for bringing May. Hi, baby. We got you a puppuccino, didn't we?
It's like, okay, what's next, guys?
Ken's Think Tank is made possible with help from these fine sponsors. Basin Home Health and Hospice, keeping you healthy, happy, and home since 1992. Durango Joe's, with a smile, a warm greeting, and a great cup of coffee.